food. And I mean, Carolyn said it, Ina, you had no idea, because I know that this book has been, what, 2 years in the making? You had no idea we were going to be in the midst of a pandemic, and yet talk about timing. You hit on the perfect thing, comfort food. So, you know, be honest, it's just you and me. Did you have some inkling we'd need this?
I'll tell you what I knew, which is why I did this, is that I knew that there was going to be an election in a month. And I knew no matter what side of the aisle you were going to be on, you were going to be totally stressed out. What I didn't know is there would be layered on top of the pandemic, there would be racial justice issues, there would be all of these other issues layered on top of it that would make people really anxious. And the truth is, it's the kind of cooking that I've always done. It's, you know, just comforting old-fashioned flavors in a modern way. And this was like the easiest book I've ever written. I just knew I wanted it to be, you know, comfort food with a twist, something fresher, something easier to make. And I knew exactly what I wanted the recipes to be. So when I've got a very clear idea, it's just much easier. But who knew what was going to happen now? I mean, it was just so crazy.
So what's comfort food? What's your description? What's your definition of comfort food?
I think it's different for everybody, and it's rooted in what you ate as a child. And I actually tell this story in the introduction when my TV producers are here from London. And I said to them, so what did you used to eat as a child? What, you know, did you have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? And they went, ooh, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, that's disgusting. And I was like, well, what did you have? And they said, oh, we would have white bread with canned baked beans and Kraft singles in it, cold baked beans. let us make you one. And I was like, yum. I said, I'll just take this back to my room and eat it for lunch.
That actually,
wrap it up and threw it. Oh, it's so awful.
So wait, that actually brings up an interesting point. Have you ever been in a situation where someone served you something and you truly hated it, but you were too polite to sort of say, no, thank you, I'll pass?
You know, I was, it's even more serious than that. A restaurant opened in East Hampton maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And we went to the restaurant, and the chef wanted to send a treat to the table. And they said they sent blowfish. And I'm like, blowfish? This is just, I mean, I know the Japanese blowfish. It is, if the poisonous sac isn't taken out correctly, you can die. So I was sitting there looking at this blowfish, and I thought, I have a choice right now. I can either eat it and possibly die, or embarrass the chef. And I ate it. I couldn't bear the thought that he would be embarrassed. It turns out I had no idea. There's a different kind of fish in the Long Island waters that's called blowfish, and it's not the one with the poisonous sac. So I ate it and I didn't die.
So this is now notice to anybody that has you over for dinner, that you can serve her anything and she'll eat it.
Except if it has cilantro in it.
Right. So why does cilantro taste like soap to some people?
I think
I love cilantro.
It's what I taste is different from what you taste. It's just, there's no possibility you think what I taste is delicious. It's just physiological.
Okay. But what you cook is delicious. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So this book, this wonderful book, and we're going to get into a few of the specifics, because I have to tell you, Ina, you don't know this, I've been doing an Ina-thon all week. I've been cooking various recipes in this book because it was the most fun research I've ever done on a story in my entire life. So I want to get into some specifics. But let me start by asking, it's called modern comfort food. So this is not your basic tuna casserole.
No, it's comfort food. So you asked this question and I went off on a tangent. It's what we remember that we really liked. So I knew I had to have a mac and cheese in there, because we all like mac and cheese, but I did it with a twist. I did it with wild mushrooms to bring out more flavor, or a pasta carbonara, which is like so rich, you have to take a nap after you've eaten one. So I added spring vegetables to it, and I kind of lightened it in a way and made it fresher. So each recipe is a remembered flavor, but it's done in either an easier way, or a perfect example is and tell me if this is one of the things you made, is the ultimate beef stew.
I
Did you
didn't
make
do that yet.
Okay.
Haven't done it yet.
So I looked at beef stew and I thought, okay, it's usually perfectly fine, but kind of boring. The meat's usually a little tough or stringy and dry. So I thought, well, maybe I'll switch out the meat and make it, do it with short ribs, which have so much flavor and also flavor the sauce. Then I thought, what can I do with the sauce to make it more fresher and more delicious? I thought, what about beef bourguignon? Has a whole bottle of red wine in it and some cognac. So I added those things and ended up with something that's just so delicious. But it's just a classic beef stew with classic vegetables, but it's got great flavor.
So that's the modern of modern.
That's the modern,
food.
yeah, is to really figure out how to sort of make everything a little fresher and more delicious.